morning, everyone. I've asked JP to lead us off in America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Bob Rust, you have our invocation?
Yes, please. Lord God, we give you thanks. We give you thanks today to be together for our health, for our wealth, for our talents, for our families, and our friends. Help us to count these blessings true and to use them to the glory of your name. We give you thanks for this day and for the food that's been served to us, the hands that prepared it, and those that have served us. In your name I pray. Amen.
Well done, Bob. I knew you had it. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. I went to bed at 9 o'clock last night, and knowing that I'd have to be up here today, eating my sharpest. I actually feel a little dull, to be honest with you. I had too much sleep. Mike, do we have any visiting Rotarians?
Good morning, Rotarians. My first time doing this, I think it's interesting. There are no visiting Rotarians.
Want to go easy on you, buddy?
I'm not sure if the word got out that Steve, I really thought with that people knowing Steve was running the show, there'd be plenty here. So I'm a little disappointed there's no one visiting.
I think we're considered like the 4th or 5th string. Okay, a couple announcements this morning. September 27th from 4:30 to 6:30, we're having a fellowship at Legends at Allentown with Christina Price. We ask you to bring a guest. Let's show off who we are and how really cool we are. And if you haven't had an opportunity to get to Legends yet, it's a really, really beautiful facility, and where Christina's having it set up is right in the heart of it. So you'll get a feel for what they've developed over there. It's a lot different than the elementary school that was there, that's for sure. As most of you know, we were rained out for our Monday golf tournament. The rain date is October 15th. That could be a blessing for us because there could be more people that we could get for golfers. We still have room for a few more foursomes, and we certainly have a lot more room to sell the Masters tickets. So keep that in mind. Let's try to take advantage of the fact that we were blown out. John, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, the only thing is we are working under a PA gaming license, so if you sold any tickets, can you please make sure that the message gets out to them that the raffle was delayed till the 15th as well. It is allowed under Title 61 of Pennsylvania Code. We did go through that whole fun song and dance over the weekend. So thank you for your patience. It is October 15th. The raffle will also be October 15th. If you sold any tickets, please pass it along. We still sell tickets, whole signs, and golfers. So thank you guys.
Yes, there is
One more thing, sorry, if you were a volunteer or you had any part and you can't do that, or if any of your golfers changed, please email either myself, Steve, or Mario, and so we can update the list. Thank you guys.
Thanks, John. There was an email circulating around as well that Bob Rust had put together that basically took care of our gaming license rules on the way we need to notify anybody that we sold a raffle ticket to. So, Don, I actually wanted to ask you this morning, this is the first year that I didn't take a list of who I sold to or any information. So, I don't know if we can meet up and sit down so that I can go through, I'll know who I sold the tickets to, so that I can just either give them a text. Most of the people did a cell phone number on there.
Yeah, most of them have a number.
Put together. So we need to do that. Plus, I need more tickets to sell now as well.
You gave them all back now.
Did you check the
You
web
have to
report
buy
for
all
the
those
next
that you
day?
gave back.
Wait, I'm sorry? No, you have the stubs. I
Well,
mean,
I know, but you said you want more to sell, but you gave all the ones back that you wanted to sell, so now you just owe for those. 25 tickets.
okay.
He said he wants more.
Yeah, just some more
More.
is good. Thanks, Don. Obviously, you didn't get much sleep last night, because you're short.
Oh, I'm not struggling at all, buddy.
No, that's good.
Just put the 10 up on the podium, I'll collect it later.
Actually, I didn't bring any money just for that fact. Okay, also, we have the Purple Pinky Race coming up on October 13th. Rick is going to be walking, and I think I may be walking for that as well. Oh, no, actually, I'll be standing in a river with John. And but they are looking for everybody to walk, and they're looking for volunteers. The entrance fee is $25, but we're looking for support from all you guys and friends of Rotary. So if you're interested, send Rick an email by October 1st to pledge your support. World Polio Day is October 24th this year. And that does it on my end. Any announcements from the floor this morning? Gary.
All right, so a little update here on Be the Inspiration Day, which is October 20th. We will actually be volunteering at Miracle League the weekend before, which is October 13th. But on the day of, I have a couple of projects, and this is still a moving target, so please don't hold me to any of this. But it looks like we'll be doing possibly something with the Wildlands at their in the Lower McCundy area, at the park over Route 100 and, well, it's Truxtown Road now, but Hillside School, some form of meal service to a shelter. We're working on a project for Turning Point. We'll have the Halloween parade volunteering that night, and then we're trying to maybe plan a celebration that ended up for everybody just to show up and enjoy. And then we're also trying to set up something for the day after the Halloween parade, doing what we did last year, walking through Emmaus and cleaning up a little bit. And then October 23rd is the Miracle League Trick or Treat. So we got a lot of stuff going on right kind of in that area for Be the Inspiration Day. Real quick here, I was in touch with the Wildlands talking about the project for the 20th. They are doing tree planting in Ancient Oaks on the 22nd. If you would like to volunteer, this is just an announcement for them. If you'd like to volunteer, you can just go to their website, click on, put your information in there, and there's actually 4 dates that they have in there that they're looking for people to help plant trees. I just figured I'd mention I'm going to show up for the one on the 22nd. Anybody else is welcome to join me. So, thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Gary. Is everything that you have going on the website?
No, it's not. I don't have it. Some of it's not like firmed up yet, but I can put that together. Should I get that to Alexa?
That would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, on the trumpet. I want to just say one thing. It's been interesting for me to transition into the executive part of this because I never really used the website before when I was a member. But what I can tell you is it's all there. So just remember, we have an awesome website, emmausrotary.org. All the speakers are listed. The directory is there. And if you don't have your login, which is one of the reasons why most people don't go to the website, you don't need to go into the website. There's other information in. You can see most of it on the outside of the website. But John Chishka is always there for you, and he loves being inundated with people asking him for what their logins are. So,
Just give him a call himself.
glad that's on film, maybe. Eric.
Just to follow up on what Gary was saying, I'm heading up the help on October 20th for the Halloween parade. So I'm going to be relentlessly after a bunch of you because I need about 12 people. We helped out last year with the Halloween parade and they were very, very appreciative of doing that. It's a good, fun thing. Steve's throwing a great party afterwards, so that's a great way to culminate the whole day of what we're doing. Is we're all going to be at Steve's place afterwards for this great
It's
party.
actually before, during, and afterwards.
See?
So
I'm going to need about 10 to 12 people to help out that night for the Halloween parade. So like I said, I'll be after you to get some people signed up for that. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. Bryce.
A couple quick things to follow up on what Steve said. I did put flyers on everyone's tables about the Dixon Mingle on the 27th. I sent out the emails with the flyer attached. If you can attend or cannot, please RSVP to the phone number below. Bring guests. It should be a really cool experience. Secondly, we're having a fellowship meeting after our meeting this morning, so if the team can sit around for 10-15 minutes afterwards, that'd be great. And thirdly, regarding the website, the emails and everything. To take it off John's plate, you can actually ping me an email if you guys don't remember your username and password to get onto the website. Typically what I do when I add a new member onto the website, into the membership thing, their default password is always service, all lowercase, and then your username is first name dot last name dot 6560. And then that's how it works. So if you have any questions, call me, email me, and I can help reset passwords if you need to. That's it.
Awesome, thanks, Bryce. Say that again. The default username is their first name dot last name 6560.
First name dot last name dot 6560. And then I always set the default password as service, all lowercase.
Awesome, great information. We'll definitely see some increase in website traffic after this morning. Sam?
Even though he doesn't have a name tag, I'd like to officially welcome our newest Rotarian, Joe Parks.
Hey, Joe.
He still would be fine, right, Tom?
No. I didn't make it.
Yeah, are you allowed to be saying anything with such pretty balloons behind you?
I hope you don't pop them.
This is your day. This is your day. Anyone else for announcements? All right, Woody. Oh, Joanne.
I was just gonna do happy dollars.
Okay, that's fine, right? She's jumping out of order.
I thought you said it would be next.
We're gonna do the raffle first, Joanne, but thank you. I'm very happy you're happy.
$408.
No, it's closer. You're married.
Boston fans,
Yes. 402.
Take this thing by the table. Collusion.
Reserve key, so I'm calling for an audit.
JP, you're out of luck now.
All right, before I throw it over to our Sergeant at Arms, just a real happy comment. Since Bruce Fosselman is upon retirement tomorrow, right? Congratulations, by the way, Bruce. What we learned was he would be a perfect apprentice, so the executive committee in charge of bringing in the next tier of people behind Mike Waddell. I mean, talk about a perfect apprenticeship. Retirement right into Rotary leadership. It couldn't be better. So thank you, Bruce, for coming to the front table this morning, coming up with that idea. I know, this is great. Well, believe it or not, I'm a planner.
Oh, you're a planner?
I'm a planner, yes. I actually trimmed it in New York. This actually keeps my CPAP lines away. Okay, fine, your turn.
I'm sure you don't have any money.
I do a little bit, but just tell me, I thought I did pretty good so far. Pretty transparent.
I want to thank Bryce for taking us all back to school because the papers on your desk are appropriately waiting for you, so that's just going to be a $2 fine. And I'm going to welcome glad you're here, glad you joined. You weren't properly, no. You weren't properly trained by Sal, who brought you in. You have to be here by 7:30.
Oh.
So you missed that 7:30, but since he didn't train you, I'm gonna find Sal. So don't worry about that for now. Then you'll have your name badge and pin shortly, and then we can worry about finding you later. Melissa, I believe you're missing a pin. She has something like 10 pins in her purse. They don't count because I haven't gone in a lady's purse since
Yesterday.
I don't even want to go there.
Melissa, I've used that line many times, it doesn't work.
And John, you were late. You were harassing me. You have fines coming. How much do you have in your pocket, John? I'll just come on over and you can just stick out and I'll take whatever I want. Now Bruce has blues here, but I've been promised.
We'll get a nice bonus.
I'll get a nice bonus if I don't say anything, and it's really tough. You see the blade that he has on, it's tough for him. I did get money from Chris and John because they were leaving early and were arriving late. Bob Rust is here and gone, as you can see, so I got fines from him. All right, Bruce, you want to go to your happy dollars?
I do. I have 41 happy dollars. Yeah. Great years. I want to, first of all, thank you very much for the gift. That was not necessary, but very much appreciated. And Nelson DeMille, who's one of my favorite authors, had his character as a police detective who's retired, is sitting on the beach, and he's sitting out there looking at the beautiful landscape, and this is my motto. The problem with doing nothing is you're not quite sure when you're done, and that's what my motto is going to be. So, there it is. And thank you.
Sal, you have money left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 5 happy dollars and 5 sad dollars. 5 sad dollars to the lower Punji Township because they're going to sadly miss Bruce. He's going to be missed. I know that from everyone I talked to. 5 happy dollars for him because he was well deserved and I want him to enjoy his retirement.
We'll get to your happiness right now.
Oh, okay. So $5. When I'm going to Quebec, I've never been to Canada before. I'm going next week, so you'll miss me. I'm happy. I always wanted to go to Quebec City. Second of all, I had to do a business trip. I was going to go to the Doylestown Club last night, but I had to change plans and do my business drop-off and pick-up in the morning. So I thought, oh, I'll go into town in Doylestown and I'll just, look at shops and maybe I'll buy something. I like to shop local. So I go into this little natural food store and I get my breakfast lunch and I hear somebody, in fact, we like squeezed by each other. She's holding this flyer and then I hear her at the front counter go, well, it's for a good cause, it's for polio. So I came up to the counter to pay for my things and I said, can I ask you, I said, what is that for polio? Are you in Rotary? She goes, yes, how did you know? It's the Purple Pinky in Doylestown, and it was Gail, the president, and we introduced ourselves, and I thought I didn't even go to this meeting, which was on my mind, and we connected in this small shop, and I just am making the announcement. It's Doylestown Club Purple Pinky, and it's on October 6th. Ours, I guess, or what we're doing is the following week, right?
The 13th, yeah.
And so that was just exciting to me. We started talking, and then the shop owner, of course, was on a one-name basis, and we talked afterward. And here, because Gail was saying things about our club. I said, yes, we do have a great club. I've been in for 20-some years. And then she left, and I started speaking to this lady, and I said, where's your shop? I said, well, it's in Bethlehem now. My son goes to Lehigh. So she may come up and visit my shop. So it's a small world, and it just made me feel good because I wanted to go to the Doylestown Club, and then I end up meeting somebody in a, I don't know, I just think that's kind of
Gordon.
Yeah, I have 5 happy dollars on the 5 fabulous sites I saw last week on our Alaskan cruise, which was Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway, Glacier Bay, and College Fjord. And for those of you that have been to Alaska, you know how fabulous it is. For those that have not, you got to put it on your bucket list. It is absolutely incredible. And for those, if you ever make it to Juneau, you gotta go to the Red Dog Saloon. The signature shot is a duck fart, and it's well worth it.
Small.
Thank you. $5 happy. I will not be here for the next couple of weeks because my wife and I and all of our children, all three of them and their significant others, will be in Paris and over to Avignon. We've rented a chateau over there and looking forward to it. We've also hired a chef to help us out. And I hope that my liver survives all the wine tours we have.
We're coming also.
Sounds like a great trip.
So I'll see you in October, all right?
I have a factoid dollar. Laurie McCungy has figured out how to deal with Bruce's transition. Bruce from Pittsburgh is being replaced by Bruce from Pittsburgh. Seriously. The guy who I hired is Bruce and he's from Pittsburgh. And he's a Steelers fan, right?
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
I have $5 happy. So my baby, so we have kids from 30 to 42. My baby just turned 30. He lives out in California. So it's really making me very happy and not melancholy. And I had this thing. I have to see him. I have to see him. So we're leaving to go out to Silicon Valley and hang with a bunch of gamers for a few days next week. So I'm really excited about that. However, with that, if any of you, I ended up really being very heartfelt with him. And I wrote this thing to him and shared it with him. And he said, put it on your blog. So if any of you want to read from the heart about the challenge of being a parent and thinking that maybe you didn't do the best you could, but moving forward and things that you want to wish for your kids, it's my most recent blog. I won't bore you with it here, but it was really cool. So I'm just really ecstatic because I want to see him. And I just said to my husband, oh, I need to see Sam. So we're going to see Sam. That's
I have 10 happy dollars this morning. 5 for the last 2 weeks. My wife and I had a lovely 2 weeks with Putin over in Russia. So anybody who hasn't been there, it's a great country to visit and see. Lots of awesome museums and people and all that kind of good stuff. Horrible traffic jams in Moscow, though. I would not want to drive there at all, kind of stuff. And the other 5 is to thank Bruce actually for his 41 years of service to the communities. Obviously being in Emmaus for a long time and everything. He's truly given back to his communities in the best way possible. So Bruce, thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
You don't have his hand up, it was tough to tell.
I think Bob had his hand up first, so.
Don't get old. I know you all sit on your edge of your chairs finding out about the Exeter field hockey team.
That's why I'm here this
There
morning.
have been 3 games since last week. They won that first game 4-3, 3 goals scored by Peyton, including the winning goal in the last minute. 8-0, another team, 5 goals, 2 assists. 11-0, 2 goals, 2 assists, and they put the second team in for the second half. She was also, Peyton, along with 4 other girls, selected for the homecoming celebration, along with 4 senior boys, all in athletes in some stage or another. She'll be riding in the homecoming parade in the convertible and will be announced before the big football game at the homecoming. So I'm going to a game Friday night, so I'm sure I'll have at least 1 game to report on next week.
Mark, do we have a long report from you? Can we get to jokes?
Yeah. I got 5 mixed dollars here. I'm happy that Bob is as long-winded as some of the women here. Prayers for the folks in the Carolinas, and I'm glad to see another Joe in the club, so happy about that.
All right, thanks, Sarge. So we're going to jump right into our program this morning. We have a special program for you. He is one of our own. He's a current Emmaus Rotarian, Dr. Mark Erle. Mark is married with 3 beautiful daughters. He is a professor, how did you put it? Professor of Foreign Studies? I like that. He is a past president of our club. He is also the committee chair for one of the committee chairs for the poker run. So everyone, please welcome Dr. Mark Erle.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning.
Morning.
So what I didn't want to do was have this be a presentation of here I am standing in front of. We did take about 1,000 pictures while we were over there. Mostly my wife took those. I do have a few of those in the slide deck. But what I found most interesting about the whole experience was learning the extent of Lehigh's study abroad program. Really just amazing to me how many students participate and the variety of the options available to students. And so I thought that would be of interest to the club as well. So I'll make sure to cover those different program options and then talk a little bit specifically about the study abroad program in which I participated. So the predominant option that students choose is a Lehigh-led program. And this is where faculty or staff go over with some number of students. There can be credit-bearing or non-credit-bearing programs. In our case, it's a credit-bearing program, and I'll go into the details of that. Most of these are over the winter or summer breaks. Then there's also a international internship program funded by the Iacocca Endowment. There's an Iacocca Institute at Lehigh. This is a summer internship to do work or research overseas. Then there's also a variety of short-term programs. Again, these are generally over the winter or summer break, where we're working with some partner organization. And then there are semester and even year-long programs where we're partnering with another university. Students are taking courses over there. And even in some subset of that, there's exchanges that go on. So one of the things that is paramount, certainly to families of students that are participating in this program, is the health and safety. How do we safeguard as best we can potential issues that could crop up? So one of the things that I found particularly interesting was this company called International SOS, or ISOS, and they are the world's largest medical and security services firm. So they have offices worldwide, and what I learned was that they're not only contracted by educational institutions, but also by corporations. And so a situation could be where you're looking to open up an office or some relationship in a country that is developing. There could be some security issues there. And the folks that I met and spoke with at ISIS said, ISOS, I should say, not ISIS. The opposite, right? Yeah, it's a different one, yeah. They were saying that in some circumstances they've had to go in and evacuate individuals, teams of people, or even families. And that's part of their whole service. So you don't pay extra for that, that's just part of the program. So the way it works is, each student is enrolled in this automatically. It's covered through the university, and your itinerary is shared with them. You have an opportunity to call them 24/7 with any issues that may come up, questions. You've lost your passport, you need protection of some sort, you have some medical emergency. They'll tell you where to go, how to get there. They're just, because when you're in some kind of an emergency or stressful situation, it's often difficult to think clearly. So I was really impressed with this company, and I thought it was a great service that the university provides to all the participants. Lehigh also seeks out guidance from a variety of organizations that have an area of focus around international travel and study. Some of those are listed here. And then every student is also enrolled in an international services and insurance program. And that's also administered through ISOS. So it's something that you don't get right away, depending on your relationship with ISOS, whatever contractual relationship you have. But in our case, Lehigh has that contracted in as well. So as I mentioned about ISOS, 24-hour assistance center, they have international clinics, remote site medical facilities across 5 different continents. They provide pre-departure education on safety, wellness, healthcare, etc. And you can, while abroad, you can receive health and safety alerts. So this is pushed out through text message, email, etc. And we actually encountered this in Prague, where there was going to be a demonstration at Wenceslas Square, which is a very prominent location in downtown Prague. And they just said because of some of the political conditions at the time, where people were very upset with the president, protests were going to be going on, and they just said, you know, might want to avoid that area. And so in our case, we made a decision over there to postpone our evening event that we had planned with the students and do that a different night. So we weren't even down in that area. What did we really think that it was a safety concern? Not particularly, but because we had been informed of it, and we just wanted to be on the safer side. You know, if something would have occurred, always better to be safe than sorry. They also, Lehigh works with Department of State, or in this, I should say, not works with, but leverages the information that is freely available to all of us. So when you do traveling internationally, you know, Gordon or any of the other agents in the room can attest to, it's worthwhile to look into those things. Department of State puts out a lot of good information regarding travel advisory and advice and information on the various offices that you can go to for assistance, and et cetera. Also, the Centers for Disease Control, Lehigh seeks out information from them. Information, you know, what things should you receive certain vaccinations before going to such and such a destination, that type of thing. So what they're trying to do, of course, is just make sure that everybody's well informed, that they've, you know, their safety and their welfare is attended to. So for you folks that have kids maybe coming up to college, the students really push for this. I didn't choose to do this for my kids. It was enough to pay for them to go to school. But I know that most universities, colleges offer this type of program in some form or another. At Lehigh, the programs that are, you know, faculty or staff led kind of range between $3,000 to $7,000. That does not include your transportation to and from that destination. And in our case, it didn't include the meals, except for breakfast, which happened to be provided by the location where we were staying. And then, of course, all the expenses. Drinking age is usually less over there in many of these European countries than it is here, and so, you know, they're making sure to have a good time while they're over there. Federal and institutional financial aid do not cover these programs. Although there are some grants and scholarships, as I have listed here, so some are need-based and then some are, you know, academic-based programs that can get some financial aid. For the semester and year-long programs, students continue to be enrolled at Lehigh University. They pay their normal tuition, and then with these partner institutions, Lehigh will pay the tuition at that institution on behalf of the student. And then the credits that they would earn at that other institution would be transferred back to Lehigh. So you're working with the registrar to understand, you know, what courses will transfer over and that type of thing. And they have a lot of relationships with a variety of universities, and so they kind of know what makes sense for you and your, you know, requirements, course requirements for your major or minor, and they make sure that, you know, you're going to be having the ability to transfer those credits back to Lehigh. Let's see. Okay, so I want to show you some information about the programs themselves, study abroad programs. So this is information on the class of 2017. At the time, I did not have access to the very latest, but it's very similar data told from 2018. So of the 1,000 or almost 1,100 students that graduated in 2017, 38% of the students at Lehigh participated in some form of study abroad, which is a much higher number than I really would have imagined. I would have thought you're paying $60,000 roughly cost of attendance to go to Lehigh. Maybe another $3,000 isn't that much more, right? So I thought that number, that really struck me. The different types or options that I shared at the top of the talk regarding study abroad experience, here's how those participants were broken down. And the reason that that number is out of 613 instead of the 414 that I showed on the previous slide is because some students actually participate in more than one study abroad program. And so the largest category here is short-term credit bearing. So this could be where they're going to Spain over the winter break and they're taking a class while they're there taught by a Lehigh professor or something. Then they have quite a few short-term non-credit. This is where I think a professor just wants to go to Costa Rica for free and they say, hey, I'll take some students with me. That sounds like a pretty good deal, actually. So 37% have participated in that. And then as far as a student going and spending a whole semester at a partner university, about 20%, and then only very few did something for an entire year. So I thought this breakdown was also kind of interesting to see as well, and especially the note about how some students actually participate in more than one study abroad program. What's that?
There's a Pac-Man on your screen.
Oh, yeah.
You're dating yourself.
Wrong color. So this slide is trying to show the type of programs within all of those listings. And so most of these are Lehigh affiliated. So that's where we're somehow directly involved, closely involved. We organize the program, etc. There is some subset, about 10%, which are non-Lehigh programs, which we have then worked with to try to safeguard the welfare of the student. You know, we don't have control over really what any student does, but if they come to the study abroad office, you know, we have staff on site to be able to work through and help them and guide them, make good decisions, and enroll them through our study abroad. Then they get access to those other services that I mentioned through ISOs and et cetera. And most of them, of those Lehigh-led and even non-Lehigh, are credit-bearing. So students don't want to necessarily lengthen their time of stay at Lehigh. They'd like to still graduate on time, so most of them are doing credit-bearing, though not all. I also thought this was kind of interesting that despite being roughly 50-50 male-female at Lehigh, and maybe even more so male, although I think they continue to work on that diversity aspect, that 65% of the participants in the study abroad program are female. I just thought that was kind of interesting. They had other information that I was looking through that described some things about demographics, ethnicity, that type of thing. But I didn't think that was quite as interesting as this, and the reason is that I didn't want us to get into this conversation of, well, you know, maybe there's this privileged class and they're already getting to do a lot internationally or whatever, and so that's why that's the largest group of participants. But this was, you know, doesn't have anything to do with that, and yet why is the higher percentage being female? So I just thought it was interesting, and I also think it's a good thing, I think.
Except for your 3 daughters.
Yeah, mine's. Well, you know, now that I'm at Lehigh full-time, and most of my kids are, two are already in college, one's out, one's still in college, but I don't get tuition assistance for them until after working at Lehigh for 5 years. So my youngest daughter could go to Lehigh for free as a senior, but I'd have to pay whatever, $180,000 for the first 3 years.
Just have another daughter.
Yeah. Good idea. This lists the study abroad experiences by both the college and the term. The college really isn't the takeaway from this. It's really kind of the numbers in aggregate. You can see the different colors and the colleges that they represent, but what this does show is that most of these experiences are in the summer. And that was my experience with the Lehigh and Prague program in particular. As you know, we went over this summer. So most of the students do participate in the summer.
Also notice not a lot of engineers going overseas compared to the arts sciences guys.
Yeah, that's very true. And
That might play a part
I
in the
think-
female-male ratio too.
Yes.
I don't know.
That could be. I mean, the largest one here is the arts and sciences group. As I was looking at things, I was noticing that there aren't a lot of options for taking a computer programming class overseas. But there is a lot of like architecture, art history, things relate, the social sciences, and so that's why I think there's just more opportunities. Now, I was talking with Study Abroad about, well, wouldn't it be cool if we did something in Croatia? We don't have anything in Croatia right now, and I would just love to go there and take a team of students and teach a computer science course there. So that's something that may come in the next couple of years. Game of Thrones is shot there for those GOT fans. And then this just shows where are the students going? Where does Lehigh have these programs? How much? 2 minutes? Really?
Yeah, that's good, pal. Where
Okay.
did you go?
So this shows that the #1 destination is Spain, and followed by Italy, Austria, England and Germany tied, and then the Czech Republic. And we went to the Czech Republic. So the Lehigh and Prague program, sorry that's a little bit dark. This is one of the oldest and largest study abroad programs. The students go over and they participate in an internship. They don't get paid for that internship, but they do receive 3 credits. And then they have a choice of one of 4 different 3-credit courses. I taught one, we had 3 other professors there. We were housed at a dorm affiliated with Charles University. Very modest accommodations, but they did have a very nice breakfast included. And we had 64 students go over. The very first night we were there, despite having multiple orientation sessions where we told them to behave, they climbed out onto some terrace. They were drinking, yelling. A couple kids were having sex in the park across the street. And so they wanted me to play the heavy the next morning and yell at everybody, which I did. I had a lot of practice at that. And the behavior after that was much better. I advocated or lobbied to send those kids home, but I didn't win that argument.
Is there room to go on that next year?
We also had 2 graduate assistants, and it worked out that one of those that we had lined up backed out. They asked me if my oldest daughter would like to go, Laura. Some of you remember her from coming to these when she was younger. But she was able to come along, so it was great that she was over for the whole 5 weeks with me.
Was she the one in the park?
Not that I'm aware of. So for those that aren't real familiar, Prague is pretty much in Central Europe. You can get up into Germany, Poland, Slovakia is nearby, Austria to the south, and then of course you can also just fly very easily. This is an overview of Prague from a large tower up on top of the hill. This is very close to where our dorm was. Our dorm was not at this height, but it was nearby geographically. And it's just a beautiful city. Here's another view a little bit to the left of that last picture. That whole structure up here is Prague Castle. So you can see there's a cathedral inside the castle area, but all of this is the protected castle. And it's just beautiful in there. Several hundred years old. Very safe, very affordable, easy to get around. Nice international airport, not too large. There's direct flights from Philly and from JFK. We paid about $900 round trip, direct flight, so very easy to get in and out of. Not too far from many of these other desirable destinations. We had internships lined up with all these different companies. You'll notice on the top, the 6 on the left, those are pretty popular, well-known, I should say. Very impressive. So it's a great opportunity for these students to have some exposure with these companies, put something on their resume, that type of thing. They're really not learning all that much in 4 weeks' time, working 4 days a week, but nonetheless it's a good experience, good introduction to industry. The person that started this program came to Lehigh in the 80s for his MBA, and then started working with study abroad to say, you know what, I think I could set something up in Prague. He lives in Prague with his family. He arranges all the internships, does all of the flights, accommodations, also the tour of the city, excursions, does all of the things that you would want somebody boots on the ground to do. As I mentioned to you guys before, and I'll wrap this up quickly, it's about 5 weeks. I came over a couple days ahead of the students. My family, the rest of my family, Laura was already there, but the rest of my family came over the last 2 weeks to spend some time there. This is a view of the Prague Castle at twilight. This is inside that cathedral. You can notice that silver statuary. Silver mining was very popular there, and we saw a lot of ornate silver work as well, and of course stained glass. This is Old Town Square. It's a popular destination. There's usually a lot of people there. Very cool, well lit at night. It looks, you know, they nice architectural lighting, not just bright lights, but really to accent the architecture. This is Charles Bridge, very famous. Has statues all along at each of those support structures. Just popular to walk around in the evening. Lots of people, you know, selling things there. And yeah, we had a great time while we were over. That's my daughter Laura on the right. I have pictures of everybody in the family drinking beer. Michelle wouldn't let me show you guys all of them because she doesn't want you to think less of her as a parent. I don't care what you guys think of these. I put at least these up. But yeah, the food was great, the beer was great. That place on the right, it was like $30 for us to have appetizers, a couple of beers, nice meal. You know, there's good places. So good time. I encourage you to consider getting over there. And I'm planning on going next summer as well. So thanks for your time.
Mark, thanks very much. Sorry we ran a little short this morning. Appreciate the time you took to put into that. Just one extra announcement here. Uncle Bob, it was suggested to me along the way that we should probably get a page built off of our website so you can post the scores of the Exeter team, as that may help drive traffic to our website. So. All right, let's close today's meeting by saying the four-way test. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First,
is it the truth?
Second,
is it fair to all concerned?
Third,
will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And fourth,
will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.